Have you ever thought about starting ballet as an adult, but then immediately thought, nah, I'm too old for that? If it sounds familiar, then I want to tell you that you're definitely not the only one. And I'm also here to tell you that it's never too late to start ballet. And in fact, starting ballet as an adult can come with some incredible perks that children do not have. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to begin ballet in your 20s or beyond. We're going to talk about the mindset you need, the unique benefits that adults have when they start ballet comparing to children, and practical steps that you can take to begin your ballet journey in a positive and sustainable way. The very first thing that I want to address is mindset, because that's where most adults get stuck before they even begin. Many people think, oh, I'm too old, my body will not mold in the same way as a child's body, I'll never look like the dancers that I see on Instagram. And while those thoughts are super common, they are not helpful or beneficial whatsoever. If you're going to go into ballet carrying that negativity, then you'll only hold yourself back. Instead, I want you to think about ballet as a brand new adventure that you're super excited about. You're not here to compare yourself to children who started when they were 5 years old or to adults and professional dancers who have been training for decades. You're here because ballet is something that you want to experience and enjoy. And here's the truth. Adults often progress faster in certain ways. Why? Because they can actually understand corrections and they're disciplined enough to apply them. And they're aware of their bodies in ways that children simply aren't. And that awareness is a huge advantage. So perhaps a mindset shift is required. Don't think that you are too late or that you are behind. Think that you are starting exactly when you were supposed to start. Now, let's talk a little bit more deeply about the benefits of starting ballet as an adult, because on the contrary to a common belief, there are actually many. First of all is something that I mentioned before, and that is body awareness. When you're in your 20s or above, you generally have a much better sense of your body. So you know your strengths, you know your limitations, you will know if something feels right or if something feels wrong, and all of that allows you to work much more intelligently in a ballet class. And second, adults can set themselves realistic goals. A child may be told by their teacher or their parents that they have to get to a professional level, whereas as an adult, you can choose what ballet means to you. Maybe you want to start ballet because you want to improve your posture or your flexibility, your artistry, or maybe you do actually want to get to an advanced level. But whatever it may be, the choice is entirely yours. The third benefit of starting ballet as an adult is the artistry and the emotional maturity. Because as an adult, you will be able to connect with the music and with the expressive side of ballet in a much deeper way than a child can. And finally, the most important point. You're here and starting ballet or doing ballet already because you want to do it. You're not being forced into it by a parent or by a teacher. You're choosing ballet out of passion, and that passion is going to carry you through all the challenges that may come your way. All right, so let's get into the practical part. How do I actually start ballet as an adult? The first step is to find a ballet class, a beginner's ballet class, either in person or online. Also make sure that you really try to find the right teacher, because not all teachers are welcoming towards adult beginners. And you also want to have a teacher that understands that adult beginners who are over 20 and children have different needs when it comes to a ballet class. Also, I've spoken about this before, but there are many people who are absolute beginners and they're adults and they feel a little bit intimidated by in-person classes. I completely understand them, and there are so many online options these days, and if you're one of these people that feels intimidated to go straight into a in-person ballet class as a complete beginner, fine. Start at home where you're in a stress-free environment, you can take all the time in the world, you learn all the basics, and then you can slowly move yourself to an in-person ballet class. And don't forget to start small. I know that, when we become determined to do something, we're super excited, and maybe some people are like, yeah, I'm now gonna do ballet 7 days a week. Trust me, If you've never done ballet before and you do that first class, the next day you're gonna feel like an elderly person. You're gonna be walking around like this because everything is gonna hurt. So that next day, for example, when you have that extreme muscle soreness, that day should be your rest and recovery day. So you're gonna participate in active recovery activities such as light walking, light foam rolling, having a good night's sleep, good food, etc., etc. And then the day after that, you can go back to a ballet class. So don't think that, you know, I got to participate in 6 or 7 classes a week. No, you don't have to. You can start with 3 to 4 classes and do make sure that you have those days there in between where you can properly rest and recover, because if you know me, you know that I'm gonna tell you that that is just as important as your training. Then you're gonna know again, maybe from some of my other videos, that it's super important that you focus on the basics to start with. Don't rush to advanced steps, such as if you're a female, point work, if you're a male, like some kind of big jumps or pirouettes or things like that. That is not going to end well. Your body will be in shock mode. And because you haven't trained those basics yet, those steps will probably not work in the way that they're supposed to. And there is a risk in ballet, unfortunately, yeah, if we don't put those basics into place, that you could hurt yourself because it's all in turnout and we're not used to being in turnout, yeah? So the first thing that you need to really focus on for a significant period of time is really drilling in your basics. So your turnout, how to hold your turnout, how to sustain your turnout while you're moving, your arm positions, your proper foot articulation, your posture, etc., etc. Understanding that there are certain movements in ballet, the basic movements, which are the foundation of all the other bigger movements. And I've said this before, you're going to eventually realize that. And that's why those beginning movements at the barre, such as your pliés, your tendus, your jetés, are so very important to drill into your body super well, because you will see eventually that everything else stems from those movements. And the last piece of advice here is to celebrate the small wins. Ballet is a lengthy process. You're going to be learning and perfecting it until the very last day that you do it. And it can seem overwhelming and it can seem that nothing is happening if you don't celebrate those small wins. So for example, if on one of the days, maybe in general you didn't have the best class, but you held one balance slightly longer than you did the day before, or maybe you managed to articulate your feet during the class better than the day before. Those wins are super important, and I want you to remember that. Don't dismiss them, celebrate all of them so you feel like, okay, I'm actually moving somewhere. Because if you just look at the bigger picture, like I said, it's super overwhelming because there's just so much to do, there's so much information, so you can really easily get carried away. And remember also what I've said in the past, pick a few things that you're really going to focus on during that 1 week of your training. Because you know, if you've done a ballet class already, the teacher is going to tell you 50,000 things. If you try to improve those 50,000 things at the same time, you're not probably going to get much done. So pick 2 of those and focus on just mainly those 2 things. Of course, you're still going to think about your combinations and your turnout and your musicality, etc., during the ballet class, but your main bulk of focus is going to be on those 2 things. And now for some more general tips. So the first one is consistency. It's better that, for example, for a longer period of time, you manage to do 2 or 3 classes per week, versus you on the first week being like, I'm gonna do 6 classes, and then you don't end up doing those 6 classes, and then slowly it's all just going to fade away. So pick something that you feel is sustainable to you, bearing in mind that adults have other things they need to do. They have full-time jobs, maybe they have children, they have other things that they need to attend to. So pick sustainable goals for yourself. And don't forget to support your ballet training with strengthening and with flexibility work. If you want to know more about those, then you can check out the video above where I go into the stretching and the strengthening a bit deeper. But do not neglect those 2 aspects. They're really important when it comes to your ballet training. And I know that you're probably a busy adult, like we already mentioned before, but if you do have some extra time, then you can spend that time looking at videos on YouTube. Nowadays, you have an array of information right on your lap. There are so many ballet classes that you can look at, and even just the visual learning, like you don't need to be at home, like after your training and after your work, standing up and practicing necessarily, but even just looking at it visually, if you've done a few classes already, you will start recognizing some things. And that visual learning can be super beneficial as well. And most importantly, guys, you have to have patience. You have to have patience because ballet is a lifelong journey. You never stop learning, you never stop perfecting your technique or your artistry. And as I've said before, there is a reason why we actually go to a professional ballet school before you get into a company for longer than people go to medical school. Like you study in a professional ballet school for 7 to 8 years. That is a crazy amount of time. And then you go into a company and like I've mentioned before, you learn until the very, very last day of your career. So the patience here is the key word. So here's the bottom line. Starting ballet in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s is not only possible, but it's incredibly rewarding. Moving your body to beautiful music, developing your artistry and transforming your body into maybe something that you didn't even think that it was capable of is a wonderful process. And it's all behind the corner and waiting for you. If you'd like some structured guidance, then I've actually created an Ultimate Beginners Ballet course, which consists of 60 plus videos with all the information that you need as a complete beginner, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm gonna leave the link in the description box below. So put on something comfortable, something that makes you feel good, step inside the ballet studio or even just your living room and let your ballet journey begin, because you are going to be surprised as to how far you could actually potentially go. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Wishing you all a beautiful rest of the day and see you very soon. Bye bye.